Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And here's something I never ever expected I was going to say. It seems Bunter Blackford actually does have a spine. The wobbly man, a man who's constantly shoving Greggs down him, the big jellyfish of the House of Commons, has stood up and rebelled against his own party. He's taken a stance. It's the hill he's going to die on, it seems. Now, given they've just given Fergus a week's ban for rebelling against his party, it's a very brave stance from Blackford. Will he get a 7-day ban for this? Who knows? I think he deserves one for many, many reasons, but for him to take this stance is remarkable. But on the other hand, who knows? He doesn't care. He's leaving Westminster at the end of this Parliament. He doesn't want to retire. He wants a place in the House of Lords. So maybe he's kind of given up and is prepared to make this stance. Maybe it's a moral stance. Who knows? But let's have a look to see why. For the first time in our living memory, Blackford has actually got a pair of balls. Here goes. Now, we know that Bunter is a good friend of Lindsay Hoyle. They are chums and they get on, and they've got a very good relationship. And so I think that perhaps he's taking a moral stand on this. He doesn't want to show disloyalty to his friend, but by doing so, he's showing disloyalty to his party. But I think always friends over party must be the line. But again, there may well be, and there ought to be, a price to pay if if he isn't punished for it. It does seem very hypocritical, shall we say, because Fergus Ewing gets a 7-day ban for voting against someone who's not even in his own party, whereas here Blackford is actually going against what his own party leader at Westminster wants to happen. So this is against his own party. As opposed to Fergus, who was against someone else's party. So I think there does have to be a price. But this is all to do, of course, with Lindsay Hoyle and this big, the petition on the signing of the motion of no confidence. Now, every single SNP MP has signed that motion. The only person who hasn't is Bunter himself. Now, this is going against totally what Beryl has to say. Beryl's up in arms about this. He doesn't like it. He wants it to be unanimous. So he's sitting there and Blackford saying, no, he's not doing it. It's cracking, isn't it? So Ian Blackford rebels against the SNP and Stephen Flynn by refusing to call for Lindsay Hoyle's resignation. It's getting close to 100 names at the moment. So I think, it's going to be soon if it's going to be anything. The former SNP Westminster leader is angering his party down in London over his refusal to sign a motion of no confidence in the House of Commons Speaker as the row over a Gaza ceasefire goes on. What a thing to take a stance on. Gaza itself it's unimportant in terms of no matter what happens at Holyrood, but no matter what happens at Westminster, makes no effect and difference what's happening in Israel and Gaza at the moment. It's just a talking shop and they just want to look virtuous, but it's meaningless. And yet this seems to be the hill to die on for these people. Who knows? Anyway, Blackford has rebelled against the SNP and Beryl as he's refused to back calls for Lindsay Hoyle to resign as Speaker of the House of Commons. The former nationalist Westminster leader is understood to be good friends with the under-threat politician who's being targeted after upsetting the Nats last week. No, he's not only being targeted for upsetting the Nats, he's being targeted by the Tories as well because he broke protocol. He went back on agreed rules. He allowed things he shouldn't have allowed. He's had secret meetings with Keir Starmer, which he denied and then had to confirm. And so he's actually lied by his denials. People have seen it. They've got evidence of it. And so there's all this shadiness going on. And the Speaker is meant to be whiter than white. He's meant to be beyond reproach. Well, this Speaker no longer is. It's time to go. A no-confidence motion has been shared throughout Westminster in an attempt to unseat Mr Hoyle, who scuppered SNP plans to call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza in a bid to force a Labour civil war. He also blocked an emergency debate put forward by the same party on a similar topic due to the UK government giving a statement on the situation in the Middle East. Now that one was one where the Leader of the House, Penny Mordaunt, God bless her, said yes, she's minded to allow the SNP to have another opposition day, SNP opposition day, simply because Labour stole theirs. And so he said, well, can we have this as our motion for our opposition day? And then Hoyle said, no, he doesn't want this to go through because he knows if he has that, and then the way that motion would have been a straight vote, there'd have been no amendments. And so it would have put Labour into a very difficult position. So he said no again to protect Labour. That's twice he's protected his own party as Speaker rather than protecting the viability of the whole of Westminster. He's beyond saving now. He's got to go. Anyway, these actions have infuriated Mr Flynn and the Nats and the Cons, who have accused the Speaker of effectively lying to MPs and the public after initially saying he would allow the SNP to debate the issue. The Aberdeen South MP claimed that his party were victims of a stitch-up, and on this one occasion and one occasion only, I'm sticking with Beryl on this one. He is right. He cannot, Hoyle cannot get away with this. The SNP are actually on this occasion. Now, I disagree with everything that they say and do, of course, but that's not the point. The point is, whilst I disagree with it, they must be allowed to do it. That's the whole point of a parliament. It gives you a chance to see these people and what they think, and then you can disagree with them. Fine, but you don't know what you're disagreeing with unless they say. That is why. So I do agree, unfortunately, but the principle here stands that I have to go with that must have that. All the Nationalist Party MPs have signed an early day motion of no confidence in Mr Hoyle, except for Blackford, who met SNP whips who urged him to sign, but were rebuffed. It has attracted 92 signatures so far, including Conservative and Plaid Cymru MPs, as well as one independent. The Skye, Lochaber and Ross representative was ousted from his role as Westminster leader at the end of 2022 by Mr Flynn, and has since announced his plan to step down as an MP. He's also called on the party to end its refusal to send people to the House of Lords. He would love to be a Lord, and I think, somebody's got to be a Lord. Let him be a Lord. Let him be a Lord, but only because it would cause so much embarrassment to the SNPs. What you need is someone like, let's say, Rishi Sunak. When he steps down, he has a resignation list. And that doesn't, he can nominate anyone he likes. It doesn't have to come through party lines. And so he could nominate Blackford for a role in the Lords. I think if it was done, he would damn well accept it, and he would say, screw the SNP. Anyway, his latest unpopular stance on Hoyle has annoyed the SNP leadership in London. One MP told the Times he needs to wind his neck in and get in line. In other words, signed the damn petition. We previously told how Mr Blackford was looking for a new home in England's capital, a little love nest. Sorry. With his new girlfriend after splitting from his wife of many years. He's an absolute shit, but, the Speaker is under threat after breaking with convention and allowing a Labour amendment to be voted on. It was basically stealing an opposition day and handing it to Labour, and it was wrong. Anyway, Ian Murray, the Shadow Secretary of State for Scotland, criticised the stance, and he said the SNP disengaged with Westminster the day they were elected and have achieved nothing of note. Blah 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 blah. It is wrong. He should go. It's absolutely right that he leaves. He's broken his position, and he's no longer seen as independent and fair. He is pro-Labour Speaker, and that, although he's a member of that party, that's fine. But he's still got to be fair and abide by the standing orders and the rules. And he breaks them at his own peril. And his own people told him, the Leader of the House told him, the officials told him, everybody told him. And he still did it. So, screw you, Hoyle, you go. Screw you, Tubby. But, you'll be out soon. But I hope the party do administer a short, sharp shock and give you a 7-day ban as well. Coming up. So, Bunter and Beryl, fisticuffs in the car park after work. Got to ask, who'd win? I'd pay money to watch that. I would pay good money to watch those two slog it out. But, I think the SNP stance is right, and I hate to say it, but I think it is, and I think Bunter should get in line and sign it and get rid of Hoyle, regardless, really. But, fine, that's his stance. But let him have the stance, but punish him. He's got to be punished. I like to see him punished. That'd be funny. Never mind. Thanks very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.